2 players, 1 moment, and millions watching. An act of skill, or rather pure luck. Many people refer to penalty shootouts as a lottery. But how true is that? Is it really just a game of chance, or is there a deeper layer to these high-pressure moments? In today's video, we'll explore the hidden science and psychology behind penalty shootouts, featuring interesting data and insights from pro footballers who have faced these intense situations time and time again. Get ready to uncover what really happens in those heart-stopping moments on the pitch. Kicking off with the psychological dynamics and mind games that shape the outcome of a penalty shootout. In the world of penalty duels, where a single kick can define the result of an entire tournament, the psychological battle between the goalkeeper and the penalty taker is often as crucial as the physical skills on display. Goalkeepers have long understood that the mind is just as important as the body in these high-stakes moments. They employ a variety of psychological tactics, from subtle visual distractions to overt body language, all designed to throw the shooter off balance. Take, for example, the notorious tactics of Emiliano Martinez during the 2022 World Cup. Known for his ability to unsettle penalty takers, Dibu has been observed using techniques such as taunting, exaggerated movements, and off-center positioning to make shooters second-guess their decisions. By positioning themselves slightly off-center, goalkeepers can influence the shooter's target, encouraging them to aim for the wider side of the goal. A study published in Psychological Science found that in 96% of observed penalties, goalkeepers stood slightly off-center, often imperceptibly so, and 59% of penalty takers aimed toward the side with more visible space, suggesting that this subtle positioning, though likely unintentional, can unconsciously influence shot direction. Furthermore, studies have shown that goalkeepers who move before the penalty shot can actually increase their chances of saving it. According to Wood and Wilson, scholars in the field of sports psychology, a goalkeeper's movement draws the shooter's attention, often resulting in a more centrally placed shot. The distraction is simple but effective, forcing the penalty taker to lose focus on their chosen target and instead shoot with less precision. The impact of the goalkeeper's psychological influence doesn't end with physical movements. Visual distractions also play a significant role. When a shooter gazes at the goalkeeper, anxiety levels rise, which can impair performance. Research has demonstrated that players who spend more time gazing at the goalkeeper have an 11% higher failure rate, highlighting the importance of visual attention in high-pressure moments. Even Lionel Messi, who has faced his fair share of pressure-filled penalties, admitted that exaggerated movements from goalkeepers could make even the calmest of shooters feel uncomfortable. Beyond the goalkeeper's influence, the mental game also extends to the penalty taker. Celebrations, body language, and leadership can set the tone. Messi, often the first to step up in shootouts, uses his body language to assert dominance. His confident walk to the spot and calm presence send a clear message to both his teammates and opponents: he is in control. Another example is Ronaldo encouraging Moutinho to take a penalty during the Euro 2016, helping him overcome hesitation after a previous miss. When players celebrate after scoring, they not only boost their own morale, but also uplift the team. In contrast, Arjen Robben chose not to celebrate after scoring a penalty against Argentina in the World Cup. This lack of visible emotion may have subtly affected the momentum, as celebrations can have a contagious effect on the team. Moreover, the manner in which a player strikes the ball can also demonstrate dominance. A dominant kick, one that is executed with power, precision, or a technique that humiliated the goalkeeper, can serve as a psychological weapon. For instance, Andrea Pirlo's Panenka against Joe Hart in the 2012 Euro quarterfinals is a perfect example. The audacity of the move, combined with the way it humiliated Hart, shifted momentum in Italy's favor and put immense psychological pressure on the English goalkeeper. The skillful execution wasn't only a real eye-catcher, but also served to boost the confidence of Pirlo's teammates, signaling that they were in control of the situation. Psychology and mindset are key in shootouts, but many penalty takers and goalkeepers also have their own tactics to gain the upper hand. Success in this high-stakes scenario also hinges on preparation that goes far beyond physical technique. But to clear up some of the mystery around one common myth, an extensive in-stat analysis of over 2,000 penalty shootouts found that teams kicking first won just 51.5% of the time, showing that the order of play has little real impact on the outcome. However, selecting the right penalty takers remains a truly critical decision. Players should be chosen based on their proven ability to perform under pressure, particularly after the physical fatigue of 120 minutes. Choosing takers based on fame or self-selection often backfires. Mental toughness matters more. Goalkeepers, too, prepare extensively for shootouts. Many now rely on so-called cheat sheets, detailed notes on opponents' penalty habits. England's Jordan Pickford famously used such a sheet in the Euro 2024, marked with cues revealing each player's preferred shooting direction. On another occasion, Patricia once studied a 2-hour DVD of Bayern Munich's penalty tendencies before the 2012 Champions League final, a move that helped Chelsea win the title. Subtle tactics like delaying their dive by 200 to 300 milliseconds can also boost their chances by improving trajectory judgment. Moreover, mental conditioning is just as important as tactical preparation. Visualization techniques, guided breathing, and psychological support are now regular methods. Emi Martinez, Argentina's World Cup-winning goalkeeper, credited a sports psychologist for helping him stay focused and cool-headed during the 2022 World Cup, where he displayed remarkable confidence in penalty shootouts. Liverpool have taken this approach even further, through the use of Neuro 11, a neuroscience-backed training system involving EEG headbands that help players train in a calm, focused state. Since adopting the technology in 2021, Liverpool has used it to great effect, winning 2 consecutive penalty shootouts in the 2021-22 season to secure both the FA Cup and Carabao Cup titles. From a neuroscience perspective, elite penalty takers rely on motor cortex activation, which governs automatic movement. Under extreme pressure, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making, can become overactive, leading to hesitation and poor execution. The goal is to suppress this conscious interference and allow muscle memory to guide the kick. Goalkeepers must also manage cognitive load. They constantly scan visual and auditory cues, predicting ball trajectory in milliseconds. Some goalkeepers try to gain a physical edge by taking a subtle step toward the dive direction, gaining momentum, though at the risk of revealing their plan. External factors further complicate shootouts. A supportive home crowd can boost player confidence, while hostile noise, especially whistles or booing, often disrupts focus. In the 2022 World Cup, Dutch players struggled in the shootout against Argentina amid intense whistling from opposing fans. To prepare for such pressure, some teams even simulate crowd noise during training sessions, helping players acclimate to the psychological demands of a high-stakes atmosphere. These distractions can lead to avoidance behaviors, where players aim more cautiously or lose composure. Now that you've mentally and strategically prepared for the penalty kick, what's the smartest spot to place it? The effectiveness of a penalty kick is heavily influenced by where the shot is aimed within the goal. Research has provided some clear insights into the best areas to target and the risks involved. Shots aimed at the upper third of the goal are extremely difficult for goalkeepers to save. A study of 286 penalties found that no penalty aimed at the top third was saved, despite the fact that only about 13% of all penalties are directed there. This low frequency is due to the inherent risk of missing the target, but the reward is significant. These shots are incredibly challenging for even the best goalkeepers to reach. In contrast, the middle third of the goal, essentially the area around the center, is far more commonly targeted. However, shots placed here have a higher save rate of around 12.6%. This reflects the relative ease with which goalkeepers can reach shots aimed toward the middle, although they are still difficult to save when executed well. The lower third of the goal has an even slightly higher save rate of 19.8%. Despite this, it remains a popular target for shooters, as these areas provide a high level of accuracy combined with the challenge of reaching them for goalkeepers. In fact, data from the World Cup supports this, showing that shots aimed at the upper third of the goal have never been saved when on target. This makes it a high-risk, high-reward option, favored by confident penalty takers. Although around 29% of penalties are aimed centrally, goalkeepers rarely stay in the middle, just 6.3% of the time, despite higher save rates there. This is largely due to action bias, the instinct to dive rather than stand still, driven by the fear of appearing passive or blameworthy. The direction in which a penalty taker chooses to shoot can often be predicted based on their dominant foot. Research shows that right-footed players tend to favor shooting to the left side of the goal, while left-footed players are more likely to aim to the right. This predictable pattern provides goalkeepers with valuable insights into which direction the shot might go, especially when they are dealing with a right-footed player. Goalkeepers use a variety of physical cues to predict the direction of a penalty shot. These cues, often subtle and instantaneous, provide valuable insight into where the ball is likely to go. The support foot, also known as the non-kicking foot, tends to point in the direction of the shot. This is one of the most reliable indicators of a player's intent. Similarly, the orientation of the hips plays a crucial role in the prediction. Open hips often suggest that the penalty taker will shoot across their body, while closed hips typically indicate a shot that is aimed toward the near post. The run-up angle is another clue. A straight run-up usually signals a power shot, while a more angled approach may indicate a placement shot, aimed with greater precision. Additionally, body shape analysis can reveal even more. As Argentine goalkeeper Geronimo Rulli explained about facing David De Gea, "I had no idea where he was going, but the way he approached the ball on the last step of his run-up made me think it was impossible he could hit it really hard. It's all happening in milliseconds, but I could see it clearly because of the way he slowed before the ball, especially his body shape." These split-second insights into the penalty taker's body language give experienced goalkeepers a distinct advantage in predicting where the shot will go. For expert goalies, reading these cues becomes second nature. Research by Williams and Berwitz showed that experienced goalkeepers could accurately predict shot direction when viewing footage cut 120 milliseconds before ball contact, relying on early visual cues. This ability is a product of muscle memory and finely tuned instincts that come from years of practice. In high-pressure situations, particularly when players are fatigued, this quick decision-making ability becomes even more critical. As Ken Bray, a British sports scientist, suggests, penalties should be practiced under conditions of fatigue to simulate match scenarios. When players are tired, their instincts need to take over, allowing them to make decisions based on their training rather than overthinking the situation. We know the odds are stacked against goalkeepers during a penalty shootout, but what do the stats and percentages reveal? A Bundesliga study on 999 penalties revealed that 15 to 20% of penalties were saved, illustrating the difficulty goalkeepers face. In the Premier League, goalkeepers have saved just 11.7% of penalties on average over the 4 seasons from 2020-21 to 2023-24. Overall, the scoring rate during shootouts tends to range from 70 to 75%, suggesting that shooters generally have the upper hand. What is interesting to know is that roughly 25% of penalties at the elite level are either saved or missed, meaning that when comparing this number to the previous ones, only about 5% of penalty takers really miss the target. Over the years, England has built a reputation for struggling in penalty shootouts. Historical losses, such as those against Germany, Argentina, Portugal, and Italy, have defined the national team's fate in crucial knockout stages. England's poor shootout record, however, isn't just about missing the target. It also involves the decision-making processes of both the penalty takers and goalkeepers. Data has shown that players who rush their penalty attempts are at a greater risk of missing. Shooters who respond in less than 200 milliseconds tend to have a success rate of only 57%. In comparison, those who allow themselves around 1 second to compose themselves before the run-up see a significant increase in success, with their conversion rates exceeding 80%. This brief moment of mental pause has proven to help players reduce anxiety and focus on their technique. One of the most notable examples of rushing came during the 2014 World Cup, when Dutch defender Ron Vlaar missed his penalty after taking a straight run-up immediately following the referee's whistle. The rush contributed to his miss, a moment that proved costly in the Netherlands' bid for a place in the final. This incident reflects the psychological challenges many players face when they fail to compose themselves before shooting. England players are known to rush their penalties, a tendency that has been linked to their struggles in major tournaments, including a run of 5 consecutive shootout defeats. Steven Gerrard, in particular, expressed frustration with the waiting time before penalties, stating, "Why do I have to wait for the bloody whistle? Those extra couple of seconds seemed like an eternity, and they definitely put me off." This psychological tension is not just about the penalty taker. The goalkeeper's mind games and the anticipation of the shot often lead to rush decisions from the shooter. At the 2006 World Cup, Portugal's goalkeeper Ricardo noticed Jamie Carragher's nervousness after he rushed his penalty before the whistle, which was quickly disallowed. Ricardo later recalled, "After that, I knew he was nervous. I looked at him and thought, you are dead. I will save it," and he exploited Carragher's uncertainty to make the crucial save. But as time progressed, England's approach to penalty shootouts evolved significantly, with notable improvements showcased during the 2024 Euros. Lastly, we'll explore the different run-ups and techniques used for penalties. Penalty takers can improve their chances of scoring by altering their run-up strategy. Variations in step length and speed have been shown to increase success rates to 80%, compared to 76% for those with a consistent approach. Changing the run-up introduces uncertainty for the goalkeeper, disrupting their timing and making it harder to anticipate the shot. On the other hand, a consistent run-up can help goalkeepers better time their actions. When the run-up is predictable, the goalkeeper can perform a power step, a preparatory move to enhance their dive reach, making it easier for them to anticipate the shot. This became evident in the penalty duel between Harry Kane and Dean Henderson, where Henderson saved the striker's penalty by anticipating his consistent run-up. In contrast, the Panenka is a high-risk, high-reward technique where the player chips the ball gently down the center of the goal, catching the goalkeeper off guard. It has been used by famous players like Zinedine Zidane in the 2006 World Cup final and Pirlo in the 2012 Euro quarterfinals. Although a brilliantly executed Panenka can humiliate the goalkeeper, it's still risky, as a poorly timed attempt can result in a miss. Furthermore, the stutter step, or hesitation technique, is often used to throw off the goalkeeper's timing. By slowing down or using a stutter step during the run-up, the shooter forces the goalkeeper to react prematurely, which can result in a misjudged dive. Players like Lewandowski, Bruno Fernandes, and Jorginho have successfully employed this tactic. It increases the chance of the goalkeeper committing too early or staying central, giving the shooter a clear advantage. During the Euro 2024, this method became even more prevalent as players used it to disrupt goalkeepers' rhythm, making it harder for them to anticipate the shot. A slow or variable run-up, employed by players like Paul Pogba, further disrupts the goalkeeper's anticipation. This method requires a balance of power and accuracy. The slower run-up can reduce shot speed but makes it harder for the goalkeeper to guess the placement. It forces the keeper to second-guess their timing, giving the shooter a mental advantage. The one-step penalty is another intriguing variation in penalty-taking strategies. In this technique, the player takes only a single step before striking the ball, bypassing the traditional run-up. This unique approach removes the element of a longer, predictable run-up, which is typically used by goalkeepers to anticipate the direction and timing of the shot. By eliminating this predictability, the one-step penalty can catch goalkeepers off guard, making it more challenging for them to react in time. Ultimately, each of these techniques leverages the psychological battle between the shooter and goalkeeper. By introducing unpredictability, penalty takers enhance their chances of success, adding layers of mental pressure that challenge the goalkeeper's decision-making. Enough penalty talk for today. After exploring the stats, strategies, and mental games that shape penalty shootouts, do you still think they're purely down to luck? It's clear that many variables play a significant role in these high-pressure moments. What's your take? Are they really a lottery, or is there a deeper science behind them? Comment it down below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe for more unusual football content in the future. Out of Play says goodbye.